the meeting. So welcome everyone again, officially, to this webinar from idea to reality. As I was saying at the beginning, I'm going to repeat everything because the people were joining at different moments. The webinar is going to be recorded. I'm going to send it afterwards. So up to you to decide if you want to be with the camera on or you want to switch it off, just for you to be aware that there will be the recording of the session. And what else? You can take screenshots, you can take pictures, go on social media and tag. I'm going to share with you again my social media handles. I am mostly active on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, for different reasons. Basically, because this is where most of the activity is happening. And yeah, let's start. So why from idea to reality? Okay, let me share with you a story of a few years ago. This was already in 2012. I was working on the corporate world, and I had a business idea. At the time I was working in NOKIA, and I had one idea that I was just sharing with a friend, or may I say ex-friend, and you will know why. I didn't have any intention at that time to become an entrepreneur, although it seems that it was on my genetics, but I was sharing this idea and I was thinking, you know what, it would be fantastic to do this because I see that there is a gap in the market. Anyway, so I was just sharing the idea, and to my surprise, in less than 1 month, this person came back to me and they said, can you see what I have created? Look at this website. I'm going to launch this exactly. And it was the idea that I had on my mind. This person in less than 1 month had taken the idea forward, created a website, and was ready to go to the market. That was not really honest. But anyway, this happens with the ideas. But I transformed my anger and my disappointment into something else. And then I decided that the next time that this would happen to me, this wouldn't be only an idea. This would turn into a company. And this is how I turned my first startup. I said, no way that this is going to happen for the second time. I can make this mistake once, but this was really a wake-up call. What pushed me even further to launch my second startup, I was talking to a friend. This time, obviously, I was not sharing the idea 100%, but I was talking to this person saying, you know what, I have an idea. I just need to research a bit more before taking it forward. And this other person is all about execution, is all about taking action. I'm not saying that you need to execute without having really gone through the steps that you need, but sometimes thinking too much is it is not good because you can lose the momentum of the market. And so I was sharing with this friend of mine, well, I need still to make a bit of a research. I need to do this, I need to do that. And at some point, he looked at me and he said, you know what, Estefania, you keep on thinking, I'll keep on doing. And that was like a slap on my face. It was like, it is true. If I keep on thinking on how am I going to do this and when I'm going to do it, and to have all the elements on my hand, this is going to be endless. At some point, I need to take action. And again, I'm not saying that as an entrepreneur, you need to take action without validating your idea, but there is a difference between validating the idea and putting a deadline and knowing that you are going to take this forward, or asking, validating, and staying hanging there forever because the market is changing. So an idea that was valid 3 weeks ago, 1 month ago, may not be valid after 6 months, okay?
Stefania, we lost your voice. There is no voice. We can't hear you, sorry.
Okay, now? Is now working? Hello?
Yes, yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now you can hear me, right?
Yes.
Where did you stop? Where did my voice stop?
Where you said that the market need action, like after that a little bit.
Okay, so it was after the whole story, right? Yeah, so what I was saying is that Of course, you need to validate all the idea, but action is so needed. And you will see me repeating this during the whole presentation. I'm going to share with you something that I heard, I saw. Honestly, I can't remember where I came out with this quote, but I think it does really summarize the life of an entrepreneur. Vision without execution is just hallucination. So it doesn't matter how fantastic is your idea, your product or your service. If you don't execute and you move forward, you have nothing. Most of us fantasize about an idea. I'm thinking of becoming an entrepreneur. I would like to create my company. Go and execute. It doesn't matter which is the execute is also to ask for advice and to start looking to trade licenses. That is execution. So you need to take steps. Some of you know me already. For those who don't, let me introduce myself. My name is Estefania Brunori. I've been in the market professionally for more than 20 years. Half of my career, almost, or more than half, is been on senior roles in marketing positions. The last corporate job was in NOKIA. And after NOKIA, I started looking for a job, but I couldn't find anything really that would fulfill me. So I started thinking on this idea of bringing together my skills, my passion, my experience, and something that the market would need. And again, you will hear me repeating quite a lot, the market need. And I came with the idea of my first startup, which was an online portal for yoga and meditation. I'm passionate about yoga. I've been practicing for the last 15 years. For those who don't know, I am also a certified yoga instructor. And bringing all this together with the vision of how this could be a trend in the future and knowing that the wellness industry was growing, I decided to launch this. And it is important, the part of monetizing and a trend, because if we are passionate about something that there is not a market need, it will become a hobby. It won't be a business. So part of the things that I do, I support small entrepreneurs and medium companies into their digital growth and social media. I help companies to have visibility and entrepreneurs to go into their path from idea into business or into business growth, and through workshops, one-on-one sessions, coaching sessions, and social media services. I'd like to know from you quickly, up to you if you want to share it on camera or if you want to type. I know that some people are camera shy and they don't want, but I'd like you to reply to one question so I'll know more or less in which point of your career you are. I'd like to know if you are an employee right now, or if you are looking for a job, or if you are in the process of launching your business, and which is the main struggle that you have right now regarding your entrepreneurial career. So whoever wants to start, either on video or on the chat, just let me know in which point of your entrepreneurial career are you. Maybe you are in the point of just having an idea, or you want to explore, and which is your main difficulty right now. So who wants to start sharing? So we'll know more or less who is in the audience, and I can give relevant examples for you all.
I'm gonna start like last time.
Okay.
In the process of launching my startup business, I have deadline. I put it for myself like before end of 2020. And what I struggled for before, I was not knowing the market exactly. So I started learning about the market since I joined In5, because before I was doing like courses, taking like improving my skills in jewelry design and a lot of stuff in this field. So what I learned a lot from your last course last week. It was really impressive, and also I think this one also will help me. And the second,
Okay.
So,
Awesome, you. Nada, thank you so much. If you, just to make it a bit quick, and then we can deepen a bit more at the end with the questions and answers, just drop me a comment. I'm going to open the chat box. Okay, so Matthew is an employee, Kay is an employee, Z is thinking about whether to pursue a business idea. Okay, so for those who are replying, I am an employee, I'm thinking about whether to pursue a business idea. So which is the main difficulty that you are having right now? Type it on the chat. Why are you not taking the next step forward? And I'll be reading that. And if someone else wants to introduce themselves, better do it on the chat, and then we will deepen more on your case on the questions and answers, and I'll be reading you. But we can continue with the presentation. I prefer to allow more time at the end, that I usually know that with the questions and answers, this gets longer. Okay, so let's continue with the presentation. So I'm going to share with you some trends that are currently now in the market. So you can understand also, it's really important to know what is happening now and what is going to happen in the future. I mean, nobody has a crystal ball, right? This is something that we need to understand. But there are some trends that are pointing towards the future and that we all need to know to launch a business successfully. What happened during the pandemic, and I'm going to ask you, please, if you could mute your mics during the presentation. Okay, I'll mute it too. Kai was saying to figure out if there is a market for my idea and how to transition into my new venture gradually. Okay, awesome. We'll see that later. So what I was saying is that during the pandemic, there are some trends that have changed, and some of them are going to stay here in the future. We've seen the work from home situation, and this is something that is going to continue. I've done different polls on social media, and when I asked to the people if they would like to continue working from home or working from the office, the people massively are saying that it's almost a 50-50, that they would like to spend 50% of their time in the office and 50% at home, which means that working from home is going to be this sentence that I don't like that much, but the new normal, so we can all understand. But what happens is that the people that have been working from home in the US, for example, it was more of the 60% of the Americans in the top having the highest incomes, which means that the lower range of incomes, unfortunately, they are not able to work from home. Why is this a trend that you should consider? If you are to launch an idea that considers people that the people are going to spend a couple of days per week at home as normal, you need to understand that the typical person that is going to be sitting at home working on remote is going to have a higher average incomes than the average salary, let's say, in the market, okay? Because there are some people that cannot do their work on remote, and usually these are manual workers, okay? So this is giving you a clue on how the market is moving towards. So services that can solve problems at home, people working on remote with a higher level of incomes, okay? The second trend that I'd like to share with you is that the single person household has increased almost at 20%, from a 20% in the late 60s to almost 30% in 2019, which means that the number of people who are living alone keeps on increasing year by year, and this is what we are going to see in the future. How does this affect your product or your service? Well, maybe if you're a food company or you are thinking on launching a food product, you need to consider smaller portions. And this is something really that hit me many years ago. I was living in England in 1995, and it really caught my attention that you had that option of smaller portions, because there was a lot of people already living alone in England in comparison with Spain, which was my home country. So they had really gone through that transformation, and this is something that we really need to consider, that there are going to be a higher number of people living alone, and that means also in services that we are going to provide. We need to understand this in order to provide solutions to the market that are going to cover needs for this group of people. Something that has happened during the pandemic as well is that density is not longer desirable for customers. What does it mean? So as we've seen, any type of service that is based on having a high amount of number of people per square meter is suffering. You name it, cafeterias, shopping malls. So this is a trend that is changing. Maybe even for the future, if your business model is going to be based in the amount of people that you can have to be able to get the return on investment on the rent that you are paying, maybe it's not the best type of business model that we want to invest in the future. While anything that is more virtual or doesn't really set the basis of their incomes on the amount of people coming per minute per square meter is going to be more successful. I was giving examples of restaurants, co-working spaces, classrooms, fitness centers. All of them are suffering. And maybe this is a change that somehow is going to stay for the future, or for sure for the next year or couple of years. This is not going to be over in 2, 3, 6 months. So we need to consider also this trend. Also, there were some industries that have been doing better during the pandemic, have been growing, like telecom, food and beverage, medical, high tech, and some other sectors like apparel, footwear, airlines, of course, hotels, cruise lines have been dropping. Is there anything that we can do about this? No, but we can see this as an opportunity for growth. For example, when it comes to apparel and footwear, we are doing a lot of Zoom meetings, right? And this is going to stay. And most of us won't be really willing to have meetings in person if we can do it online. If you are working, for example, on a fashion brand, maybe there is a niche in the market where you can really focus on tops, accessories, because nobody cares that much on the skirt or the trousers, while in a Zoom meeting, you're only going to see the upper part, right? So maybe our consumer behavior regarding fashion, it is changing as well. So imagine just a brand that is selling tops. I have no idea. I haven't done this, so here I'm launching an idea that could be successful for the future. More trends. And this is something that I always share across all my presentations because it's massive and it's going to keep on happening. This was the prediction for 2020 before even the pandemic. And I cannot imagine at the end of the year how this will be. More than 500,000 people become an entrepreneur per month in the US. And by the end of this year, it was projected that more than 40% of the people will work for themselves, which I'm sure is going to be more than 50%, which means that yes, there is an opportunity for entrepreneurship and there can be a saturation as well in the market. There are many people trying to do business, and this takes us to the point of you will really need to understand which is the solution that they are providing to the market and which is your uniqueness. Services, products, there are many in the market. You need to offer something either that is very different and unique or that your customer experience is going to do it in a different way. Okay, we'll go through that later on. Unfortunately, 80% of the startups or new businesses don't survive after the first year. And this is not to scare anyone. I like to be really realistic on my talks. I think there is a lot of fluffy talk about entrepreneurship. Yes, you can do it, invest all your money, you can really make a successful business. Yes, but you also need to understand that the 80% don't make it after the first year. How can you avoid that? Learning, seeing what other people are doing in the market, preparing yourself. It doesn't mean that you cannot do it, but taking the right steps, you have a higher chance of succeeding rather than following these mantras of yes, you can do it, launch it. Well, launch it, but take your steps. We know how the mobile is growing. We spend, as average, more than 5 hours per day on our devices. In the US, more than 90% of the people have the mobile at hand distance, which means that this has become our third arm. And we are using it for everything. 80% of the Americans are shopping online. And when I share statistics from America, it's because we know that they are leading the show in terms of business, and what happens there, it gets replicated here in the Middle East or wherever is any other place where you are following this talk and this webinar from. Still, the US is leading the show when it comes to business trends. 30% are purchasing items monthly through their mobile. So whatever you are doing, and I am not talking about big brands, if you are setting up your fashion online shop, make sure that the people can do their purchase through their mobile, because this is how you're going to make it more accessible to them. This can be one element that is going to make different the customer experience from your brand to another brand. 30% of the sales that the online stores get is through social media presence. So either we like it or not, we need to be present on social media. It really helps to boost our sales if we do it well. And I compare the social media nowadays like having a website 10 years ago. Everybody needed, every business, I mean, needed a website. Without a website, you wouldn't be visible, and it would be a bit strange, really, to try to reach out a business and not even see their website. So today's website is social media. And this applies, by the way, to your personal brand as well. And we'll talk a bit more about that. So go social and make sure that your social profiles for your product or service are really active, because you need to be seen. Another trend that is going on right now in the market, well, it's been going on for a while and is going to keep on growing. The markets need more flexibility when it comes to employee and when it comes to consultants and freelancers. So there is a big opportunity on the project economy. It happens in different sectors, in different ways. Events, for example, is always been a market of project. But even on professional services, we are going to keep on seeing this growth, where you may be assigned a project for a certain type of work, of time, sorry, or so not only as a consultant or as an expert, even your company. There is a company that is selling beauty treatments at home. You can book it through an app, but they are in partnership as well now with big brands, so they can sell their services through them. And this is going to be an assignment for a couple of months. So consider that some of your products can be, or services can be, part of a project. Something else that is growing is business education. It was already growing in the past, but now with the rise of the online learning, it is more accessible for everyone. You can be doing this webinar with people joining from different parts of the world. You have an expertise on your field, and I'm sure you've seen these workshops that famous actors are doing about acting, or famous musicians are doing about playing the piano or playing the guitar. I'm not saying that all of us will need to be teaching now everything and different skills, but definitely this is another source of revenue streams that you can have under a company. Once you establish your brand and you establish your leadership, this is something that you can keep on doing, or maybe you want to specialize in providing to the market a specific education tool, app, or solution. But education is going to keep on growing and is definitely a sector to keep an eye for future. Okay, 4 more trends. Going niche. You need to be relevant to your market and the leader and the specialist on a market niche. I think there is a question. Apologies, I need to attend another call. Thank you so much. I'll go to watch the recording afterwards. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Matthew. So what does it mean to go niche? One of the mistakes that I see sometimes on the entrepreneurs is when I ask them, which is your typical customer? And they reply, everyone. That's the first bell that rings as an alarm for me to understand that they haven't really twisted their business model. Why? When you are providing a solution to the market or a product, you you cannot really solve the problem for everyone and anyone. It may be the case that your clients need to have some digital skills. For example, we will see some examples later on and you will understand this better. Or you are providing a type of design for high incomes people, or you are providing learning opportunities for aspiring entrepreneurs. But if you think that your product or your service is for everyone and anyone, you should give it a second thought to really understand which is your ideal customer. Otherwise, when it comes to your marketing campaigns, to your visuals, to anything that you're going to do in your marketing, you're going to spend a huge budget trying to reach out to everyone. One of the keys of the success of different apps, such as Uber, at the beginning when they were succeeding, it was that they started really small and they started really niche, and they went to a neighborhood where they knew that there was the type of potential customer that they could have. They went really niche and they started experimenting there. The second trend is something that I call unicorn 0, zebra 1. What does it mean? A unicorn startup is the typical company that would grow really fast at the beginning, and it will be sold after short period of time. So the main objective of the unicorn was, let's create a company with the exit in mind. So we really calculate that we need to make money at the beginning and make the company in a way that I'm going to be able to sell it after 3 years. Now, this is changing towards another type of business model and type of company with different values, which is what I call the zebra. The zebra is a company that is going to be sustained during the time. It's going to have values, probably a social impact. It's got a stronger vision of having an impact in society. And the idea is to stay, not to get sold after 2-3 years really fast. It may happen after some time that you can sell the company, but that's not the primary objective. The objective is more really to have this vision executed. Okay. Now, another trend, and it's not a trend, but it's a need whenever you think on your type of company, if you want really to keep on growing sustainably for the future, is to have a business model that can be scalable. Okay, this is one of the things that the investors look at the first time when they try to see if they are going to join your company. And when I'm talking about an investor, I'm not talking about the example that I was saying as a unicorn that you want to sell fast. An investor, it can be someone on your circle of friends that wants to have a part on your company and to support you on your entrepreneurial career. So what does it mean to be scalable is that you don't have limits on how you want to grow, either by technology or by manufacturing or any other means. Does it mean that all the companies need to be scalable? Well, if you start with this in mind, it's going to be easier for you to understand where you want to take the company. Maybe you start now launching your fashion collection in the UAE, but you may have a limit and you may not be able to scale up to other markets. Then your company wouldn't grow enough. And the fact that we own a niche in the market or we are leaders in the market today doesn't mean that we are going to be a leader after 2 years. So you will need to keep on expanding your company and to grow your company. So if you have the scalability in mind already when you start, you are going to have a higher chance of really keep on growing with your company. Now, another trend, 3 benefits, 3. What do I mean by this? Gone are the times, especially for the new generations, where the companies are going to be just a money-making machine and they don't have any type of impact on society. So nowadays, what we are looking for in companies is that they will have an impact, a positive impact on the environment, on the society, and on the economy as well, right? So whenever you launch, again, your product or your service, it doesn't mean that all the companies need to be in the field of sustainability. But if the packaging of your brand is sustainable, then you're having an impact on the environment. You are having an impact on the people, probably by giving back a percentage of your benefits, if you want, at the end of the year to one NGO that is aligned with your company, and is reverting back to the society. So keep the benefits in mind, because what was like a super extra characteristic 10 years ago now is going to become a must. So is there any question regarding what we've talked till now? Otherwise, I'll continue. If you have any question, let me know.
No, all clear. Thank you so much.
Okay, you are welcome. So let me just recap on the trends, so you can have a wide view. Remember that yes, we are going to work from home, and the typical profile of the people working from home is going to be higher than the average incomes. Second, more single people living alone, which is an opportunity for the type of services and products that we want to launch. Density, business models based on maximizing the amount of people who can join per square meter are going to suffer. And then there are sectors, there are a lot of statistics. You can check sectors for future of growth, but definitely one of them is education, the project economy, and definitely go mobile in anything that you do. Reasons of failures. Okay, your purpose. Something that I always explain to the people. If you want to become an entrepreneur because you don't like your boss, because you don't want to work long hours, or because you love these pictures that I also do, by the way, of being in Zanzibar, working from a paradise, and I don't have any picture here, but I could share. I'll do a post on Instagram, by the way, about this. This is the behind the scenes. Believe me, I've never worked as much as I work being an entrepreneur. You are going to become your worst boss, let's say, because you're not going to give yourself holidays when you know that you are about to launch your latest design or your latest service, or when you have a complaint from a customer. So you're going to work very hard. And how is that sustainable is by being very clear on which is your purpose. Why did you decide to become an entrepreneur? You need to have this in point. If you don't have your why in place, the rest will fall down. Believe me, there are going to be moments in which you'll be working a lot, you'll be tired, and you will be about to give up. But it is your purpose that will make you keep on going. I can share my example with you. When I launched my first startup, Yoga Infinity, I was working endless hours. And I remember one day that I was driving from In5 at 1 a.m. in the morning. I was just having this long conversation with the web developer. I was already doing a countdown on social media to launch my company, and they were making one mistake after another. They were not reliable on the days that they were saying, and I was really desperate, because if you are doing a countdown and saying that your web is going to be live in 20 days, you need to be up, especially when it's the launch of a new product. You only have one time to give the first impression, right? So anyway, I had to be working really long hours with them, putting a lot of patience, doing things that I was not supposed to do. But anyway, for your company, you really go the extra mile. And of course, one of these days that I was driving home, I was thinking, this is why I became an entrepreneur, really, to be working until 1 a.m. in the morning. But then again, my purpose came to my mind. And why I launched my startup on the field of wellness is because I wanted to have an impact on the well-being and the mental health of the people. And if you follow me on social media, you will see that I always talk about wellness and mental health, because this is one of my purposes in this life. Is something that I have experienced. So in the case of my startup, this was what kept me on track. It was my purpose.
Stefania,
I know that
we lost your voice. We lost your voice. Like
okay.
1 second, 2 seconds,
Yes.
3 seconds.
Thank you, Nada. So that was my purpose, and this is what kept me really grounded and knowing that despite the difficulties at the beginning, I would keep on going because I had a mission really that I want to deliver. It is the same that I do now with entrepreneurs. My passion is really to support people into their journey or to grow small businesses with the experience that I have. This is what I want to share. So I have my vision really clear. So if I have to be working on a Friday while some other people are on the beach, I know that I can do that because there is a mission behind that. It doesn't mean that I am workaholic and I work 7 days, 36, 65 per year, but your purpose is what is going to keep you going during the difficult times that we all have. The second mistake, and this is a big one, is that there is no market need for your idea. When I work with entrepreneurs and I ask them which is the market problem that you are solving, I can share with you that in a really high percentage, they don't know how to reply to this. And it's okay. It's okay. This is why we are here, right? So I can share this with you. The people are going to buy a product or a service from you because you are going to solve a problem. It can be a basic problem as food, housing, clothing. But when we are talking about brands, we go to the next level. Okay, usually it's not a basic need. I mean, we all have a roof, most of us. We all have clothes. We all have food. So you need to find what's the why of the people to buy your product. It may be that you are providing a specific type of design that they click with and they want to be, for example, connected with local materials into their house through furniture. Okay, so it's twisting what do you think that you are providing from the customer perspective. Okay, I'm working with designers on the personal brand that they are going to launch today with Tashkil, which is an art center in the UAE, really important. And I've been working on digital marketing and personal branding for them. And one of the participants, and now I can share this because the product is already out in the market today, they wanted to provide the experience of the traditions of the UAE with the furniture. So when someone is at home, they can experience this. So look at the change of the perspective. They are not just selling furniture. If your mindset is, I'm selling furniture, there are thousands of shops. If you are providing Middle Eastern experience and tradition at your home, you are shifting your perspective. I'm going to share an example of someone who didn't understand which was the market need. It was Segway. I bet you remember this type of stand-up transportation means years ago. They thought that this could replace the car, and the price of this was insane because they thought that it was the same user that has a car that is going to forget about the car and buy this. They failed completely in the market. This, I can't remember now the price, but it was so highly priced that the people were not buying it. The people would wait and they would buy a car instead. Now, what is happening, we are seeing now a similar type of solution, which is not as costly as this was, but it is addressing a different need. It is addressing the need of people who cannot afford to pay a car. And therefore, they can buy this type of solution that is much more cheaper than what Segway was. Their problem was that there was not really a market need for people who can buy a car or can spend a lot of money to buy this type of transportation. Now, what the next companies have got right is that, yes, there is a market need for people who need a low-cost solution. And that's why we are seeing so many around. Those get it right. Segway got it wrong, and they didn't understand which was the market need. Another typical problem when someone is launching their business is the cash flow. Believe me, whatever is your prediction is going to be longer and you're going to spend more money. Even if you are in the best of your predictions and you are fantastic with your financials, the trade license is going to take longer, probably. The bank setup is going to take longer. maybe the first web developer is not going to get it right, and then you will have to hire a second one. This is what happened to me. I spent with the first one, we launched, but after the launch, I said, look, I'm not going to keep on working with them because this was not the type of service. But then I needed to hire a second web developer, and I ended up spending more money. So getting your cash flow in place, and if you can save some money and project your expenses in advance, is going to be better because your cash flow needs to keep on running. You are going to have delays. You will have clients that maybe will not pay you. You may have to give your product back because there is a complaint. So not that you have to be always on the worst case scenario, but almost. So you need really to learn about how to keep your cash flow going. Another mistake that happens is the lack of customer understanding. And this is a very dear and close case that I saw in first person. I joined Nokia in 2012. Nokia, for those of you that are young and didn't, or younger than me, let's say, and didn't know Nokia as a user, was the leading mobile company 20 years ago. They were fantastic in their design. The mobiles, you could throw them on the floor 20 times. They would never break down. The battery would last for a week, which seems like a miracle right now. And they were fantastic. What happened with the years as they evolved is that they didn't understand that the mobile in 2012 was not the same as in the late 90s. Okay, how did the mobile shifted? How it changed is that the mobile at the beginning was just to make calls. But after a few years, it started to be a social tool. At the moment that I was working in Nokia, they had changed from the Android operating system into Microsoft, okay? Windows Phone, sorry. With the Windows Phone, they still hadn't developed Twitter for Windows Phone, Instagram for Windows Phone, Facebook for Windows Phone. So here we are in 2012 with the rest of the mobiles offering Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, and Nokia with their Windows Phone operating system couldn't offer the apps. They didn't understand why, as a users, we were using the mobile phone. Imagine to the point that I was in charge of the brand ambassadors strategy in Nokia, dealing with influencers, and they needed to use Instagram to talk about our mobiles, and they were not able. There was an app developer that started to develop non-official Nokia, Windows Phone apps, and thanks to that, we could keep on going. But honestly, this was one of the many reasons why Nokia didn't make it. Now they are back with a different type of, they are on Android, but definitely this was a mistake, and it was really painful from a company that was leading in their niche for so many years. Another mistake that, sorry, I see a message here. I was an employee, but I just resigned as I want to start my business in the sport industry. And I want to, your point is to start yourself or with a partner. First of all, I want to congratulate you for choosing the sector. Sports and wellness is something that is going to keep on growing for future. And regarding partner or not partner, we can talk about that in the questions and answers. Another mistake that some entrepreneurs make is to have a short-term vision. This won't really take you further because, as I was saying, the market keeps on changing. The fact that you can be a leader for your niche today, it doesn't mean that you're going to be the leader for your niche after 6 months. So that's why it is important to know your purpose, your vision, and to keep on improving, to keep on learning. Most of the fashion companies, for example, this year, have gone into virtual catwalks. So you need to be really resilient and reply quick to the market at the same time that you keep a vision for future. This is what gives you the direction, that keeps you accountable, and helps you balance your strategy with your tactics. Okay, of course you need to execute, but you also need to have a higher type of direction with helps you align with your brand, with your marketing, and with the things that you do for future. Something that is massive is not having the right team. When we start as entrepreneurs, most of you may start as solopreneur. It doesn't mean that you need to start alone. You can still collaborate with some other people. You may have some other entrepreneurs, solopreneurs around you. Maybe you know someone that is starting on the social media. Maybe you know someone who is starting as a financial advisor. You can trade with your services as well. And this is important at the beginning when you still don't have big money to keep on paying different services. You can trade. We all have done that. When I started my career, um, and I was living in Barcelona, I was introduced to a fantastic marketeer that was working in Hewlett Packard, and in his transition, he was doing coaching sessions. Okay, he was only taking a few number of clients. His rates were, I mean, incredible. I couldn't really afford that. But we found a way that I would be supporting him with my services and the experience that I had, and he would be coaching me. So don't underestimate the power of trading, these type of things, because you need people around. The life of an entrepreneur is not easy. You need a lot of stamina, you need a lot of motivation, and you are not always motivated. And having a team of people or a collaborators pool that you can take from is going to help us really have new ideas. It is impossible that we will know about design, marketing, technology, financials, wellness. So we need to have this type of people around, either as part of your team for your company or people that you collaborate with that you can give feedback and they can give feedback to you. Another mistake, unsustainable growth. It is not good to not grow, but it's also not good to grow too much in a way that can backfire you. The example that I can share with you is Crumb's Bake Shop. They started in the US creating cupcakes, personalized, very special ones, and they started having a high success. They started growing, and then they thought, okay, this is fantastic, let's grow even more. And they invested in their bake shops, buying real estate. And that was such a massive mistake to the point that they disappeared from the market. It was an unsustainable growth. This was not their business. Their business was not real estate. They didn't understand that market. But they invested because they thought that as we are growing, why to pay a rent? We can have a space. And I'm talking before the pandemic. I mean, the pandemic is something that we couldn't really predict. But in this case, their growth was not sustainable in the way that they were doing it. And sometimes we need to take a step back and to say, well, I don't want to grow right now multiplied by 10 while I don't have the resources, I don't have the experience, and I'm not sure really about my business model. So it's always finding the right speed that is going to work for you. No digital skills. I think I don't really need to explain this too much, but we've seen through the pandemic how everything is shifting digital. It was already happening, obviously, in the past. I started specializing on digital marketing and social media 7 years ago. I always give the same example, but when I started working in Nokia with the brand ambassadors, I even didn't have an Instagram account. And I said, well, Estefania, if you are going to lead a team of brand ambassadors, you better start learning, start experimenting on Instagram, and whether you like it or not, this is the future, so you cannot avoid it. Digital skill is going to allow you to understand better when you talk with a web developer, if you hire someone for your social media. And I am really glad when business owners really take the time, or future entrepreneurs really take the time to know a bit of everything. It's not that we don't need to be a web developer, but we need to learn the basics. We don't need to be all of us social marketeers, but you need to know a bit on that, because this is the future, and it's how the traffic to your website is going to come. Is a percentage of your sales is going to come by digital means. So either you develop your digital skills or you don't become an entrepreneur. Another example is being outcompeted. And this is a painful one. When we launch a product or a service in the market, we imagine that till now we've done everything, okay? you've learned which is your market niche, you've seen which is your market size. We'll go to that later when I explain the 6 steps. And you've done everything fine, you are selling, and then someone new comes to the market and they do it better than you. This is exactly what happened to Yahoo. Yahoo, I'm reading the numbers, in 2000 was the most visited site on the internet. We are talking about 2000. We are not talking about 100 years ago. We are talking, 2000, which is already 20 years ago, right? But they were the most visited site worldwide. What happened in their case is that they had a lack of vision. They really didn't know where they were heading towards, and they made a super big mistake, which is they hired a CEO in 2001 who didn't have any experience on the new internet. As a result of that, Google came into the scene and really became the leader that is today, which is the #1 platform as a search engine. So it doesn't mean that because you are the leader today, you will lose your leadership after 6 months or 1 year. How do you keep on top? You need to keep on innovating, being on top of the trends, and even your customer is going to keep on changing. So the customer that is buying, for example, in my case, the typical person who would come to my yoga platform 7 years ago is not the same that would come today, because the yoga sector has evolved. There are new companies that came into the market. So I would have to change some things on my business model. So I'm making a summary here of the 9 main mistakes. So making it easier for you if you want to take a screenshot. So you can see, I don't know, now you have all of them here. I'm trying to put the chat on the side, or just to minimize. Remember your purpose. This is what is going to keep you going through the toughest times. No market need, then it means that you don't have a space for your product or your service. Your cash flow needs to be in place. Lack of customer understanding, and this is something that you need to keep on listening to your potential customer. Short-term vision, it can make you have a company for the next 6 months, but not further than that. Not having the right team or the right collaborators, unsustainable growth, not digital skills, or being outcompeted. So I'd like to understand if there is any question till now. These are the top reasons small businesses fail. On almost 20% of the cases, they are outcompeted. Almost a fourth part don't have the right team. Almost the 30% run out of cash. 42% no market need for the product or services, and more than 80% experience cash flow problems. These are some of the reasons. Another reason is having the wrong partner, but we'll talk about that later. Any questions that you'd like to send?
I have questions, Stefania,
yes.
please. Like, who is the right person to help you define all the steps of your company? Like, who can help you in creating all of these steps? And like, I'm not sure if I answered it, if I asked it correctly.
Who would help you to take you through these 6 steps?
Of course, there should be like because the entrepreneur won't have all these skills at once. So who's the right person to create this for you, and then you keep it up after that?
Well, I would say that you have to. I would choose someone that is going through those steps, not through the theory, but in practical. They have gone through this. They have made mistakes, so they have learned from the mistakes as well. Because believe me, as an entrepreneur, you are going to make mistakes. I have made mistakes and I paid for them. And it is on my purpose really to share these mistakes so that people will avoid the pain and they will grow faster. Because, the consequence of the mistakes is that you lose money, you lose time, and you may lose momentum in the market. So I would say someone that has the experience, that has gone through the steps and has made mistakes that can share with you. Maybe someone that has experience on your sector. It would be interesting. Not always is the case. In my case, I didn't need support with someone that was really on the yoga sector. And if you know your weaknesses, you can complement yourself with someone that is going to support you on those. If you are not strong on financials, maybe this is where you need the, the highest impact. Or if you are not high on leadership skills, maybe you can have a coach on that. I personally pull out from different coaches when I need. So I know that someone is really good at helping me with the vision and the purpose. I know that someone else is really focused on the business part of the story, on, okay, sources of revenue streams, how can we monetize? And then I shuffle between them. I have a life coach as well that is helping me more into the transitions and more on the wellness side. So it depends. You will keep on, but I would say find the areas where you think you need the biggest support and work with people that has gone through the experience of building it.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Okay, 5 areas that you need to master, and we'll go through the 6. Okay, something that I didn't explain at the beginning is why do I talk about 6 weeks to take your idea from concept into business? What I'm going to share with you is a 6 weeks proven process that I do with entrepreneurs. And we work every week in a concept to the point that after 6 weeks, you are really ready to launch. I'm not going to enter into the legal part of the story. You have different places where you can set up your company, trade license, because this is so complex that you really need an expert. I am not an expert on that. I'm not going to touch base into the licensing part, but I know that there are solutions, whether to have your freelance license in 2 or 3 weeks, or to have your company set up in less than 1 month. So I know that setting up a business in 6 weeks is possible from the legal side of the story and the trade license, and I'm going to focus more on the process. Okay, 5 areas that you need to master for your company. Partnerships. I don't think that I've ever met an entrepreneur that succeeded doing everything and anything alone, right? What happens when you have partners, and it can be a business partner, or it can be a strategic partnership, or it can be people that you collaborate with, is that your visibility also increases, as well as your trust, okay? If you are part of a professional group that is respected, that has an impact on your brand already. Your brand, as I am a member of Capital Club in Dubai, you already have a trademark of trust that can help you. It's going to help you as well when you network, and you are going to find synergies between these people. They may have their own database, they are going to have a reach, and a partnership, what is going to help you is to have more visibility and therefore to grow faster. There are different ways of doing partnerships. It can be, for example, in PR, writing for a magazine. So you can become one of their contributors. It's going to be for free, but it's going to build your reputation online, and it's going to give you visibility for you and your company. So I'm not only talking about when you have your own company, like it is my case, linked to my personal brand. You can be the business owner, and as a business owner, write for a company. One of the entrepreneurs that I've been working with in the fashion field, she's writing articles for Marie Claire, but this reverts back to her company as well. So partnership is one area that you need to master. You need to find these alliances. Another one is technology. Times are changing really fast. When I launched my first digital marketing workshop was in February. I had been doing masterclasses and webinars for a long time. But the first on-site with a group of people, a paid workshop, was in February, and it was in the middle of the pandemic. So it was a 2 days workshop. The first one was, I think, on the 7th of March. And the night before the 7th, there was the order that from 8 onwards, all the events were cancelled. And the people had paid for my workshop. Of course, on the 7th, I asked them, would you like to continue? Shall we postpone? Funny, me thinking that the pandemic was going to be over in 1 month. Shall we wait until this is over, or shall we move it online? And everybody said, no, let's do it online next week. I had to be really fast with technology, understand how to do a webinar, buy the technology that I needed, the camera, the lighting, everything. And this is a must for us in the future. We need to keep accountable of technology, whatever is the service that you are selling. I don't care if it is a lawyer that is becoming a consultant as a lawyer. If you are having an online shop, you need to be accountable of the technology in order to sell your services. In a bigger or a smaller degree, you need to keep on track with those trends. Planning and management. I work with an entrepreneur that they were selling sustainable shoes. And this is quite typical as well from entrepreneurs, that once you kick off, things can be really fast sometimes if you are successful in the market, but this can overload you. You need planning monthly, you need your management. And again, if you are not strong on these skills, take a workshop, take a course, work with someone that can teach you. There are many free online tools nowadays that can help you to plan your week. From Trello, for example, is one of them that can help you really to keep your company on track. And because at the beginning, when you launch a company, you are going to be everyone. You are going to be your finance manager, you are going to be your coffee boy, you're going to be your marketing person, probably. You're going to have so many things at the same time that either you're really organized or you will struggle. So the planning and management is something that really helped me to do all the things that I was doing at the same time and that I keep on doing at the same time in a more organized way. You have to be really efficient with your work. Testing. If you were on my digital marketing masterclass last week, I was sharing with you that social media is not only a tool to generate leads or to position your brand, is a fantastic tool as a market research. Through social media and digital, you can understand which is your customer behavior. What do they like? Why they don't like? What is the source of revenue stream? I was sharing this last week on the masterclass. I'm going to share it again for the people who didn't join. When I launched my first startup, Infinity, my prediction was to have 3 different sources of revenue streams, right? As we kicked off, and it's a startup, and by definition, we were innovating. There was nothing like that in the market. As I kept on progressing and I was looking at my social media and my digital data, I could see that there was one source of revenue streams really that was taking the 80% of the show. And then I decided to take action and to change the website and to focus really on that source of revenue stream. So at the beginning, there was one part of testing, and I kept on testing. And this is what will give you always need to allow a percentage that is going to allow you try different things to test and to get the feedback. So don't be scared of these mistakes of launching something that doesn't work well. If you always keep this percentage of testing as a mindset, I mean, not that I'm encouraging you to try things that you haven't really gone through your market analysis, but yes, get into the mindset that some of the things are going to be learning experiences for you to keep on learning about your user. You will keep on learning, you will keep on adjusting, and every time you will be able to understand your user better and to provide better solutions and products. Now, this is massive, mental and physical health. Unfortunately, for entrepreneurs, the number of depression and anxiety for entrepreneurs is higher than for the rest of the people for different reasons. We are usually more isolated. We don't work in a company where we meet 50 people every day. We have struggles that the people who have a salary at the end of the month may not have. We have more instability, challenges. The website is not working, and you may not probably have a team at the beginning. And There are many statistics out in the market that prove that we suffer more. And then it becomes more important to pay really attention to your mental and physical health. If there is something a must for me, and again, you will see that on my social media if you start following, is that I put a lot of emphasis on my physical and mental well-being. In my case, I mean, I've been doing meditation for the last 20 years. I do sports daily. And believe me that in the times where the rest of the things fall down, and you have a problem with a client, with a customer, with your business partner, the web is not working, focusing on what is under your control, which is your health, is a must as an entrepreneur. You can see different examples around the world. We have Adriana Huffington, which is the CEO of the Huffington Post newspaper. She's been doing meditation for the last 20 years. People performing high in sports like Leonard Messi does meditation every day. So I would really encourage you to take this as a part of your entrepreneurial journey, because if you don't have the energy or the mental strength to keep on going, it doesn't matter how fantastic is your idea, you won't make it. And again, I mean, this is not a talk really to encourage the people not to become an entrepreneur, but really to give a real view of what it means to become an entrepreneur, and to start prioritizing. Any question on that? Okay. I wanted to share with you a funny story that happened during the pandemic. I have a nephew that is 12 years old, and during the pandemic, with the lockdown, he's a big fan of Playmobil, and he started customizing as a way to keep himself entertained and keep on doing what he likes. So he started doing these custom Playmobiles. He started asking to the people, what do you like? What is your profession? And this man, being 12 years old, started monetizing this. The people started ordering, I want one, and I'm working as a salesman. So he would customize these small Playmobiles. He started to have his cash flow. He was investing. I mean, I'm so thrilled really that this new generation are so smart. He was reinvesting the money that he was getting to get new materials, so he would be able to keep on creating more. He was listening to what the people were liking the most. He was using all his social media platforms. He's got a YouTube channel. I cannot even believe that. And believe me, this doesn't come from my son. He was not even asking me, but he was really planning on how to date forward. I was asking him at some point, how many orders do you have now? And he said, well, I have 10, but I am not taking more orders right now. Otherwise, I don't have the time really to produce everything. Imagine his management skills. He's only 12. Sometimes we have skills that we don't even know. If he could do this small business that for sure he's going to take it further in the future, now he cannot because he's in school. If at 12 years old can do that, guys, we can do it on a higher scale. And by the way, he was doing that because I love the part of public speaking and the workshop. So that's why he put this wireless micro on me. Okay, so what is the 6 steps plan? The step number 1 is you need to have clarity on which is your brand value proposition. What is the brand value proposition? This is the solution that you're providing to the market, why you are unique, and how you're presenting it. Examples of a brand value proposition. You could say, for example, I am a copywriter. Then you are talking about your services. You're not talking about your solution. Your brand value proposition would be, I help entrepreneurs to monetize their content creation through a smart use of copywriting skills, let's say. Okay, so is the shift from I am offering you this to this is the problem that you have, and this is how I am solving it, and this is how I am doing it in a unique way, and why you should work with me. Okay. We can talk more about the brand value proposition in the questions and answers. The market research. Why do you need to research the market? You need to know which is your market size. I'm going to share with you an example of a company that I was working with. They wanted to provide fashion consultancy in this market, and they had done the market research 3 years ago. And therefore, they decided that they wanted to come to the UAE market. When we started working together, it was on the digital marketing. I really needed to know the market size so we could know which was the potential audience that we could have for the Facebook ads. And to their surprise, there were 3 competitors in the market that they hadn't considered. So therefore, the market size was not already the market size that they thought before, because they were already 3 competitors that they were going to take a piece of the market. So knowing which is your market size and which is the percentage that you are going to be able to reach out is important for you to do your predictions, to know which is the audience that you are going to hit on your Facebook campaigns, which is the ideal number of visits that you need to have on your website to be able to monetize and to have 20 clients per month. So all these numbers need to be in place. Competitors and positioning. We go back to the brand value proposition. Your brand value proposition is the solution that you are offering, the problem, sorry, that you are solving, and how you are doing it in a unique way. And you need to be really clear in your communications on why you are unique. If you don't know which are the strengths of your competitors and how you are standing out from the crowd, your clients are not going to know it either. If you are selling, let's say, if you are a life coach and you just present yourself as a life coach, there are thousands of life coaches out there. You need to understand which are the life coaches, who are the life coaches, what are they offering, which is the solution that they are providing, and why you are unique. Maybe you are unique because on the type of packages that you offer, or on the experience that you have, or on the niche that you are focusing. And then is when you can create this positioning map. So you are going to understand which is the niche that you own and how you're going to communicate this in a unique way. The step number 4 is to understand which are your segments, your personas, and your sales channels. Segments means that, imagine as a, let's continue with this example of not a life coach, but a business coach. I may have different segments. One can be entrepreneurs, and the other one, it can be big companies that are having startups inside as an acceleration program, okay? So I can be a business coach either on the one-on-one or in big corporations within their acceleration programs. I'm going to market differently to each of them, and they are going to need different things. Maybe on the B2B, I will need to create a longer program or a group program, while for entrepreneurs, I can work on the one-on-one. And personas within the one-on-one, I'm going to have different categories as well. I may have someone who is a mom who's got a second, already an income in their household by the husband, or the opposite. Maybe the wife is working and it's the husband who wants to become an entrepreneur. This is one type of people that I would like to approach. Maybe someone else is working on a company and wants to start building their startup at the same time. So I need to understand which are these different types of marketing personas, because when I create content, or when I do a webinar, or when I try to sell my products, I need to have this person in mind to be able to communicate and create content and stories, or for my ads, to be able to reach out. And the sales channels, how are you going to sell your product or your service? Are you going to do it through your website? Are you going to use an indirect sales channel that can be multi-channel type of brand? So for example, Mom's World, they are bringing different brands for baby products. So if I am let's say, I don't know, organic cream product for babies, and I want to reach the UAE market, maybe it wouldn't be really smart to launch my website, but I can do it through Mom's World, that they already have a fantastic supermarket online where I can be seen. and I can sell through them. So it is about segments, personas, and deciding which are the sales channels that you are going to use, physical or online or both, direct or indirect. Then once you have all these clear on your plan, it comes the moment of the profit and loss, and then you are going to work monthly on your expenses, the different sources of revenue streams that you have, and the different channels. Maybe, as we were saying, you have the online and offline. So on your profit and loss, you will be working monthly with predictions. Now, I know that for the profit and loss, what happens is that people say, well, Stefania, but I am launching my company. I don't know how much am I going to sell. Yes, but you need to start with a prediction. And we've all done that. And we started out of where is the wind coming from. But if you don't do a prediction, you don't have a direction either. And the prediction will be done on your market research, the market size, the competitors, your capability, because maybe you cannot sell 50 units per month. If you are a designer, can you produce 50 units per month? So you will get back to reality and be clear on how many units per month you are going to sell or you are predicting to sell. And then you will have the reality check with your expenses as well. And maybe you will realize that in order to cover your office, your trade license, your marketing, your computer, your camera, etc., you need to sell a minimum of 10 units per month. And then you will go back to your business model and say, okay, so to produce 10 units per month, maybe I need to outsource the production of my product, okay? And step number 6 is getting your marketing strategy, budgeted, and planning in place. Some people are launching before even having their marketing behind, and marketing is going to be the 50%, if not more, of your success. It doesn't matter if your product is fantastic, you've done your profit and loss, you know which is your segment, you have a brand positioning, and your brand value proposition is fantastic. If you don't have a marketing in place, you won't succeed. And it doesn't mean that you need to spend a lot of money. With my startup, I was spending less than 200 US dollars per month on social media, and I had an exposure of 600,000 in the first 6 months. Yes, I am a marketeer, of course, and I was spending a lot of time. And I'm not saying that you need to have such a high exposure at the beginning, but your marketing really needs to be in place. Otherwise, you are going to spend money, effort, and resources in the rest of the 5 first steps. And if you don't do any marketing, everything is going to be diluted. And for me, as a coach, it's really painful to see that. And most of the things that I'm sharing is because I want you to avoid the pain that some other entrepreneurs go through and to accelerate your growth. So these are the main 6 steps that you need to have in place. I have prepared a checklist that you can take a screenshot. So you can check where are you on your entrepreneurial process, which is the problem that you are solving. Have you tested your assumption? This is important. It's not that you think that there is a problem in the market. Is a problem in the market that you can cover, really. Ask, send a market research, ask your friends and your network, which is the market size? Which are your competitors? Which is going to be your positioning? How are you going to show yourself unique? Which are the segments that you're trying to reach out, the personas, your profit and loss, and your minimum viable product in case that you're launching a product or a solution in the market. Sometimes you need to test with a very basic website instead of trying to get the super fantastic website that has all the attributes. Do you have your branding and marketing materials in place? Which are the best channels for you to distribute your marketing? Which are your marketing objectives and your KPIs? Which is your calendar of action? When are you going to launch? And I'm really glad that at the beginning, Nada, you were saying that your objective is to launch before 2021. That's fantastic. Otherwise, we can get lost. And then if you don't launch on the 20th of December and you launch on the 5th of January, it doesn't matter. Nobody's going to die because you did it 15 days later or 1 month later. But you need to have an objective in mind. So this will push you really to go further. Analytics and keep on learning and adapting. I don't know if you have any question. I still have some examples, quick examples for you, and I have something that I want to share with you at the end. Do you have any question of any of the 6 steps?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Welcome. No questions?
Maybe I could ask one.
Yes, go
Thank
ahead.
you very much. I was wondering, can you share maybe some best practices on the market research, how to do this nowadays?
Sorry, an
Or how to do
example?
this quickly at the beginning to get a good idea?
An example on the market research?
Yes, or from your
Okay.
experience, right? What works best
Yeah,
quickly?
sure. Let me share the experience of my startup. Okay. So what I launched, it was an online portal to bring together all the information about yoga and meditation in the Middle East. Okay. So I needed to know how many users would be for that. As in the Middle East, sometimes there is not so much data, I went to the US, right? And I benchmarked the data. I got the numbers on how many people were practicing yoga and meditation in the US, and which was the total of in percentage of the population, right? I can't remember now the data, but probably was a 10% that were practicing yoga and meditation. Then I took the same benchmark for the Middle East. I said, okay, so if there are 300 million population in the Middle East, in the US there are 10% practicing yoga, let's assume, because sometimes the market research, it has a part of assumption as well. Let's assume that here the market is not so mature, so instead of a 10%, let's assume there is a 1%, okay? Another market research that I did was the growth in the US of the practice of yoga. It had increased on an 80% over the last 5 years. So I did that prediction as well, benchmarking with the Middle East. So the prediction is that the users that we have now in the next 5 years are going to grow an 80% as well. So this is how you can do the market research in numbers, in terms of users, and then you can benchmark with some other markets as well as with the current trends. I was also using the mobile and web penetration in the Middle East, which is higher than in the rest of the countries. I was using the population growth rate, which is higher here than in the rest of the countries. So it could show me that this is a market for growth for the future. And I was following as well the trends on growth on fitness. So this is how you bring it together. Comparison with markets that are more mature for the sector that you are following, as well as the trends in your market, in your sector. I don't know if I did reply to your question.
Yes, excellent. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. Any other question? Otherwise, we can address them at the end as well. Because I want to share with you some useful examples of startups that are here in the Middle East. Let me talk about Mr. Usta. And I know this case very well because we were colleagues in Nokia. And funny enough, I mean, after Nokia, I was consulting. And one day I am in In5 attending a talk, and I see this guy talking about his startup. He's like, this face is familiar to me. I mean, in Nokia, we were 3 floors, and we were not working closely, but his face was familiar. And he was the founder with his wife of Mr. Usta, which is a platform for anything that you need, from car repair to cleaning services. So he came to this because he was really suffering whenever he needed a plumber, whenever he needed to get painted his house. So sometimes this is how a company starts, because you are suffering the pain. This was the case of my startup as well. I couldn't find all the information about the yoga and the meditation and in one platform, and I thought it was a good idea. This is what happened to them. Something that they did really well, it was the scalability of the model. It was an app from the beginning, and they knew that they could grow. Sorry. And they kept on testing. They were not adding all the services from the beginning, and they announced a strategic partnership this summer with Majid Al-Futtaim. So imagine, this is a true story. He was an ex-colleague of mine. He had been all his life in Nokia, and then he started something. Another key of success is that he hired the right team, and he was very good on the mobile applications, but he didn't know about some other areas. So he really hired people that were good in all this. The Entertainer is a fantastic case of success. The problem for them that they detected in the market is that most of the times you wanted to go and have some services, and get out for lunch, but you didn't know all the options in Dubai, and they couldn't find it everywhere. So they came with this book that had vouchers as well to go with someone else with a discount, which would really boost the movement of the restaurants. They really focused on the technology, and they launched the entertainer in 2001, and in 2013 they went completely digital. So they didn't really lose momentum, and you could really use them through an app. And yeah, so in this case, the technology was important. Dubiesel is another fantastic example. Their vision, which was really important, it was to make a more fair world, in the sense that you would be able to find any type of service, real estate, it was at the beginning, for free. A platform that would have all the information for free. And up to today, you can still find the information for free. And this is how they kept their vision. Of course, it was a question of execution as well. They made a lot of mistakes, and they all shared that, but they kept on learning. This is an example of an individual professional, which is Marcus Smith. He's a professional trainer. He's very well known because I don't know if it was last year or 2 years ago, he was running 1 marathon per day for 30 days. Okay. And he kept on really focus on her niche, which is on his niche, sorry, which is wellness and fitness. He launched his own company, Inner Fight, the food company Smith Paleo, to provide with food to the people who train with him. So imagine, I mean, he went really niche into people who need this type of trainings, and then he started to branch out to new services, but of course, hiring people who are specialized on that. He's not a specialist on food, but his wife is a nutritionist. And he's been listening to the market, and he knows that whenever someone starts into the fitness journey, then continue with the nutrition as well. Huda Beauty, a fantastic example of pursuing your passion. Something that I haven't touched base, well, a bit roughly, is do something that you like and work for a sector that you like, because this is the people that you are going to network with. These are going to be your clients, and this is the product that you're going to sell. Huda Beauty, she started having fun writing blogs about beauty. She didn't have any intention at all of creating a business. And this is how she kept on growing. Then she became an influencer, and then she started experimenting. She made mistakes with some products, but she started creating this momentum, leadership, experimenting with some other brands, and ended up creating the Huda Beauty brand, successful, that is today. And by the way, if you see their social media, they keep on having a lot of fun with what they do. So that's a must as well. So Brian, no problem. I'll send the recording. I'm going to open the round for the questions and answers. I still have something that I want to share with you at the end of the workshop, like I always do, something that is going to be only for you guys, the people who attended the workshop. So I'd like to know if you have further questions on anything that I shared today, which is your main worry or your main aha moment during today, or something that you would like to know, the things that some of you wanted to have more clarity during today's session. I don't know if you had this clarity, if you were encouraged really to take steps forward, or if you'd like to ask something else. I'd like to hear you. If you have any question, what is the area that you think you are going to have the most difficulties, and how can you solve that? Someone was asking at the beginning regarding partner or not partner. There are replies that can take you into the direction of having a partner or not having a partner, and both replies would be valid. What I would recommend you, and this has been one of my most painful most painful moments as an entrepreneur, is if you go with a partner, choose the right partner. How can you choose the right partner? Someone that is really aligned with the vision of the company, that has the same passion that you have, And because if the objective of being a partner in a company is different, it's going to be really difficult to be aligned. If someone wants to become a partner just for the money, they don't have the same vision that you have for the market. There needs to be an alignment on what you want to achieve. And if partnership is only, or investor is only to get economical support, I would tell you, don't go with a partner if that is the only reason that makes you really want to have a business partner. Now, if it is because they have a different expertise than yours, they are technical and you are not technical, that can be a valid reason, but still you need some sort of alignment. It is important to know the values of that person to see if it clicks with you. If you click in terms of the type of service that you want to provide, the type of business ethics that you have. Okay, it is important to get to know that that person as a business partner in terms of reputation as well, because you're going to create a brand and you need to make sure that whatever you do is going to be helpful. So partner yes or partner not. Well, we know that when we work with a team, we can reach further. So choose a partner wisely that can add you in terms of network, in terms of skills, but make sure that you are aligned on the vision and what the why of the company. Why do you want to launch this into the market? Because when the frictions start, that is going to happen in any business, it is only the vision and the purpose that you had at the beginning that is going to keep two people working together, because you really wanted to have the same impact. That is really important. The impact that you want to create and the impact that your partner wants to create. If the impact that they want to create is only money, when the money problems or the market slowdowns or you are not selling enough, it will crash. So an alignment on the purpose is important. I don't know if anyone has any question. I am doubtful. I don't know if not having questions is good or not. I don't know if it's because I am making you thinking and you are thinking, or because I have scared you.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for your information.
Welcome.
I'm the one who asked about the partner.
Mm-hmm.
So my question is, if I start alone, the business will be like small. But if I had this partner, it will be like bigger. Yes, there is some experience that he has. So still I'm confused about that, because I have a new idea. It's still new. So my fear is new idea, maybe someone has a good amount of money who can make this business like
Yes.
easier than me or bigger than me. So this is my fear. Or I just start and I will have the leads before anyone else will start, especially it's a new concept.
Yes, I am glad really that you asked this question, because this is a fear that all of us we have when we start. And I don't know if you were at the beginning of my talk, but I started with an idea that was somehow stolen from me, and that was what made me really kick off my startup and say, this is not going to happen for the second time. The next time that I have an idea, I'm going to execute. You will always have the risk in the market that someone is going to copy you, but if your vision on the long run is clear and the impact that you want to have, you are going to be able to tweak. So if, I don't know, imagine that that your business idea is to sell do-it-yourself cupcakes at home. I'm just saying a silly
idea. In sports field.
Okay. I'm just saying a silly idea. And your vision is really short, of course can someone come and copy you. But if you have is a vision on what you want to do in 5 years, no way that they are going to know what you want to do in 5 years' time. They will see the short part that you are doing, but they don't know what you have in mind for the next years. So the risk is there. The idea can be copied, but I can assure you the people who try to copy my idea, they haven't lasted really longer when they were copying the beginning of the idea, because they didn't know where I want to take it forward, and they don't know which is my vision and my purpose and how I'm thinking on re-diversifying in the future. So that's regarding the idea. And regarding the business partner, I mean, of course, please make them sign a non-disclosure agreement, which, by the way, I mean, you sign it and they can do somewhere else if they want. But make sure that they are taking as well a risk when they go into a business, either with the reputation or with the money that they are investing. You will always have the risk that someone can copy your idea, but at the same time, try to make the research of who is that person and if someone that you can trust. Can you have surprises? Yes. Most of the entrepreneurs have surprises sometimes with their partners. Yes. But the more you try to understand from that person, the purpose behind why they want to become an entrepreneur, why they want to partner with you, and which is the impact that they want to have with their solution, will help you have clarity on this person. One of my coaches told me about finding a partner. If you want to know who is a person, check 3 things. Where do they spend their money? Where do they spend their energy? And where do they spend their time? This will give you a 360 idea of who is that person. Not what they talk, not how honest they say they are, but just this is like hiring someone. So take some time to understand who is that person. That would be my advice.
Thank you. Yeah.
And Stefania, I think also like having a partner in the beginning is a little bit risky because you know your brands better than anyone else. So maybe you would try it at this as a start, and then if anyone would love to join you, then you choose the right person for your brand, right?
Yes, I mean, unless you really need a partner because it's a startup and then you may need someone on the technology side, for example.
Yes.
But if you can start at the beginning alone and understand a bit more, you are going to be in a stronger position in the future whenever you want to welcome a partner because you will understand your business better. I mean, unless I had an idea, for example, for a startup that requires a different type of knowledge or entering a market where I don't have the experience, if it was as a solopreneur for your own brand, I think it's valid to start with your own and then decide if you want to grow.
So it depends on the business.
Yes, if it is again a startup that requires a part of technology with the apps,
yes.
then you may need a technology partner. But if it is for your own brand, maybe you can start alone.
Yeah, thank you so much, Stefania.
You're welcome. Anyway, I'm going to drop here my email. So if someone else after the session that you've got many different ideas and probably you need to swallow all the ideas, want to send me an email and ask me anything, I'm more than glad to reply to you. I wanted just to share something quickly with you, as I usually do with all my workshops. I always provide something special for the people who are in their path into entrepreneurship. And I'm going to share 3 things that I'm going to keep for the next 2 days. So if you want to access to this at the rates that I'm going to share with you, please note that today is Monday. So this is going to be only till Wednesday, 12 p.m. I have my 6th edition of the Social Media and Digital Marketing Workshop for small businesses and entrepreneurs. This gives you a full view from A to Z on what is digital marketing, which are the social media platforms, how to create social media profiles that sell, okay? And I insist on sell because it's not about only having a nice Instagram, it's about doing it in a way that is going to sell. I'm going to share with you growth hacking techniques, how to create content, how to launch your Facebook ads, how to do email marketing. We are going to work on a 3 months implementation plan and a strategy. So you're going to touch everything from A to Z. It's practical, it's live stream. You will be able to ask questions. I'm going to limit this to a certain number of people. So the interactions are going to be proactive and quality. I don't want to have 25 people on the workshop. The normal price of this workshop is $162 because this is 4 days. Is 2 hours every day. I send the recordings and you are interacting with me. The early bird ticket, and you will see this, is $120. This is already, I'll share with you the link. But for today, whoever buys the workshop maximum until Wednesday, you are going to get it for $98. And not only you, if someone comes through you and you want to send this to someone else, if they come through you, they are going to have the same price. But the deal is that you have this just for 48 hours because I have to be fair to the rest of the people that are purchasing it with the early bird ticket. The second thing is that I know that some people are doubting on taking the next step. So I'm just going to offer one session at half of the price of my private coaching sessions. My private coaching sessions are $130 US. If you want to have one session to squeeze me as much as you want, the first session is going to be a half of the price. Again, you're going to have this until, it's not that you have to pay before Wednesday, but just to confirm that you want to do this with me and that you are serious with your entrepreneurial career, because if you are still thinking if you want to do it or not, you are not going to take any action. And the third one is that this transforms into a program where we go through each of these 6 steps that I was sharing with you. You can do it alone, or if you want to do it with me, I only have 2 more spots available for this program. It's a 6-week program where every week we study one of these topics, and this is the price that we are going to have. The deal is that there are only 2 spots available, so if you want to grab them before Wednesday, it can be for you. And I just only have one last message for you. Guys, you keep on thinking, I keep on doing. So I am giving you back what I was told before I launched my startup, because this really kicked me hard. And I was at the beginning really upset with a friend who told me this, but believe me, this really kicked me to launch my first startup. And I hope really you will do the same. I think there is still a couple of questions. Let me check. Thank you. Welcome. Is there any other timing? Any other timing for the workshop? You mean online? Is 5 to 7 p.m. It's going to be live stream. I'm going to send the recordings every day. So if you are not able to attend to any of the sessions, I always send them at the end of the class. So I don't know if this is useful. Otherwise, send me an email and let me know if you would like to join in the future, any other timings. I'm also doing in the individual workshops for Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook ads, and those are in the morning. So maybe that can be useful for you, Salah. I'm glad to send me your email, or I can email you all the details, and then maybe one of those are useful for you. Any other question? We are crossing the time, but any other question that you would like to ask? Otherwise, send me an email, and I'll be more than happy to reply and to support in your entrepreneurial career. All good? Okay. Thank you. Welcome. And see you soon, online or offline. Have a fantastic day.
You
Bye.
too. Thank you, everyone. Thank you so much,
Bye.
Stefania.
Bye.
Bye.